Hello, one and all. Welcome to Gamecast number 2. We're gonna try and make this a every time Dan's off, we're gonna try and at least squeeze one of them on one of the 2 days that he's off. For this Gamecast, I am going to be playing South of Midnight. I did play a bit of it off camera, and then I'm deciding to restart the playthrough. Given the fact that this game is kind of deep, we're going to go from there. I do believe that I'm going to combine this with our anti-bully streams that we do. Given the content. Dan, you want to go ahead and do your intro?
Hi. I'm here.
Man, a few words, folks. Man, a few words.
Nah, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, it's xendial, of course, here with Mikey. Kind of caught me off guard with it, but I'm here.
I like to do that from time to time.
So, what's on the docket?
Okay. Well, first, let me talk about the game we're doing. This came out on the 8th of April. This is kind of like a personal thing for me because I am from the South. I do have Southern roots, so... And this is dealing with Southern cryptids and other stuff. I am going to be turning on the chase skip option to on because it's just annoying. That's all good. That's all good. Alright, we're all good. Alright, let's get started. Alright. I think it's imperative.
Down in the deep south, folks spin tales about the grand tapestry, an invisible weave holding our world together.
As soon as this intro's
They
over.
say the grand tapestry is torn by folk sorrows, and these damaged threads give rise to them evil spirits called hates. But every
Base is
while, a mighty
upgraded.
storm brews, awakening a powerful force.
He's playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna hear him rage at times.
Not rage. I never rage.
Hooks in hand, this weaver can banish haints and reweave.
Me rage? You kidding? Please.
Restoring the land so life
Any better than that?
fresh and new.
Clearly, they haven't seen a Resident Evil 5 playthrough.
Okay. Yeah, but when you're using ancient Mayan laser beams to cut my stomach open because you wondered what was inside.
The last weaver?
I mean, to be fair, you did kind of drop me off a bridge.
Yeah, because it was funny. What you did was on purpose.
I mean, he's not wrong.
My tale begins deep in the heart of Chickasaw County, in a speck of a town called Prospero, where the last weaver was last seen.
And like always in my game of Shadows, it's a fucking monsoon.
Hazel's mama was running.
Hey, funny you should say that because I'm battling a
home
flood.
for a storm that seemed hell-bent on drowning the whole South.
Huh, go figure.
Whenever I play Shadows, it's always fucking raining.
Box, fixing to evacuate quickly. A hurricane brewing on the horizon, and a mighty big one at that.
Man, I miss singing on the bus with these guys. Wish we had another meet. Another medal, too. We was fast as hell. Mom should be back by now. Probably got sucked into work again. Typical. I shouldn't be doing all this packing by myself. But here I am.
Okay, so I know what everybody's gonna say. Oh
Alright,
my god,
coming
it's a
with me?
black man character. Get over it.
Woke! It's what?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks, but Deep South lore and people of the Deep South are mainly black folk and
there goes the
some
flesh
form
wound
of
bullets.
hillbilly that we have yet to decipher.
Yeah, but are we talking about
I assumed
that
for a while
kind,
this
or are
last
we
night.
talking
I
about the
know
other
he's weird
kind?
looking, but Can't help
From
but
what I've experienced, the good kind.
story's never been this
They're
bad
more. like,
Because there's Alabama.
No, this one
before.
is,
Things got tense with Mama
I
last time I visited you
think,
at the mausoleum.
Louisiana.
She'll
Okay, well,
never explain why she
Louisiana
and Grandma
doesn't
banged
have that
back
same
then.
problem that Alabama always seems to have.
That was the
For
day
those of
Mama
you that
threw
are
up on
wondering,
me
this
after
is
getting off
like
that
basically
wagon
like
wheel. Almost passed out from
a
laughing so
take
hard.
on the Deep South and like their
She still had
lore
that kind of
and
time for me.
history and stuff like that. It's the subject matter that kind of drew me in because it kind of reminded it of me and my
Like
own
something
healing
missing
journey.
somebody, for real.
Some of the scenarios in here are
It is really picking up
kind
out
of
there.
deep.
You ready to go?
I was over here all alone.
I'm sorry, I know. I swung by the shelter because there was a leak in the roof, and then I had to drive folks back and forth to Jolene's to ride out the storm. Besides, you are young and spry, my little track star. Oh, shoot, we got 5 minutes. Let's go. Did you pack everything?
Mama, I'm grown. This ain't my first hurricane. I know what to do.
As long as you didn't forget the...
Flashlights and batteries. You had the blankets?
Yes, because I have my...
Hurricane checklist. Is that a smiley face?
Hey, Hazel, think fast.
Oh, come on, Mama. We don't have room for my track shoes.
You know how expensive those things are. You best find somewhere to pack them.
And pack 'em light. Yeah, I know.
What'd you say?
I said, and pack 'em light.
Pack a bag, then pack it light. Hey, pack your bags, then pack 'em light.
The other thing that kind of like made me laugh at this game is it's funny, but the soundtrack of
You
it
think this
is
place
also
still big
funny.
here? After?
I called Hurricane Lulu
Now-
and she said we good.
For those of you that are
Mama,
wondering
I'm
about me, if I'm
serious.
doing like a personal run through,
What if it's different this time?
I'm a weird gamer
That's
when it
not for
comes
you
to
worry
that.
about.
Unless I'm like with
And
xendial
now we got
or
4 minutes.
Tuttle
Did you
or
just suck your teeth in
Samwise
me?
as he
Well,
goes
you
by
were
on
looking, you
Xbox.
Don't mom.
I kind of just
Speak
put
on
on
it.
my Spotify
I said
playlist
we
and
wouldn't
put my
be rushed
headphones
if you
on, and
didn't
I
waste
just
all
kind
that
of
time
like
at the shelter.
read the subtitles and
time?
listen to my music because it
That's
kind of
not
like
what I meant.
focuses my brain.
Just- You left me to prep for a
Because
hurricane by
you know the
myself.
funness
Oh, I
of
thought you
being
was
bipolar
grown.
ADHD.
What if we
I get
call
the
a bus
best of both
and
fuckingings.
go over there? You know, the mansion with the hurricane.
When the
proof
tism
windows.
hits.
Now, you
Oh,
bring
dude,
this up
it-
right now.
I'm just
It's
saying.
bad. Like, I
are
gotta give
going
myself
to
credit. Like,
Jolene's
I
church
didn't want to go to
with everybody
therapy.
else,
I really
like we
didn't.
always do.
I was kind of doing it
Whatever.
like when I first started my
And don't
going
roll
back to
your eyes at me.
therapy.
I wasn't
It
even
was
looking at
because
you.
I was going
made
for
those eyes. I
SSDI
know when
for a
they
mental
rolling.
I
disability,
just don't understand why we can't go over there.
and
Mom still can, even if Daddy's dead.
I really wasn't
Hazel,
expecting it
please.
to help me.
Just please.
Now
go
I'm
over to
like 3
Bose
years
and
in.
Mrs. Pearls, check on them. They may need help.
We might need some help. I might
So-
need some help.
It,
While
it
you're
does
out
work. I
helping
mean, I
everybody
get it.
else.
Like some people might be scared
Damn it!
that I don't want to tell my problems to strangers. How are you gonna know unless you try? If
Your
you're
great-grandmother made
like
this.
for my
never
story
told me
and
that.
how I
I
was,
shouldn't have to tell you
I
something
hated
as
feeling
important for
like
not
you
to
can
go
ask
through.
Zendio. My
maybe if
temper
you
went
did,
from
you still
0
have
to
a coffee
100
mug.
real quick,
This world existed before I brought you
and he's
into it,
been there
Hazel
for
Flood.
most of it.
Remember that next time you go around thinking you know everything.
Yeah, you gotta stop doing that.
Hazel,
And then after therapy, I'm kind of like,
everything I
You're
do.
more
I do for
mellow,
you.
if anything.
Hey, Walter.
What?
I'm kind of like that mellow, go with the
Gotta get
flow,
through to
is what it is type of feel
Let me go
now.
check on Bo.
Which, to be fair, when it first started happening, xendial asked if I was like abducted by aliens.
Well, yeah, that's mostly true.
Cause I
Who are you
pulled-
and what did you do with my brother?
Because I pulled like the biggest 180. And now, you know, I'm just kind of like, oh, well, it is what it is, and thinking clearly more and that type of deal. But what's funny is out of all of my friends, all of them, extended family included, Dan and me are the only two that do not smoke weed.
I mean, we'll
And-
drink ourselves stupid.
Yeah, we'll drink ourselves like tipsy and stupid and me sliding off a rooftop. But I tried weed once and it had absolutely no effect on me whatsoever. None.
Well, the reason why I don't do it is because I had a very bad experience with it.
I gotta go check on
I didn't do it, but I got secondhand high, and it was a bad time.
And yes, being
Better make sure
secondhand
Miss
high is
Pearl's
a
taking
thing.
this seriously.
I'm not going to hear people tell me otherwise because I've been around plenty of potheads and I get lightheaded and goofy
It's happened to me,
and stuff like that.
and let me tell you, I wasn't having fun.
Like, I love my extended family, and also, Dan, do you want to know the funny thing about Mr. Walter who's in the chat?
Oh no.
He inadvertently followed in my footsteps without him even meaning to do it.
Didn't you tell me about this? You said you joined security, right?
He is now in the same security company that I used to be in.
What you doing on my porch?
And
all of this weather,
quite
baby?
frankly, I don't
Just
think a
checking
single
on you,
thing has
see if
changed
you
within
need
that
anything.
company.
You holding up okay?
My only
I'm
gripe,
doing just
my
fine.
only gripe, aside of the
Been
stupidity
doing
that I met at the airport, which we're gonna get into that momentarily,
I
is the
should
fact that
probably
relief officers tend to, you know, drag their feet and take their time, especially when they're supposed to be in at 6 o'clock in the morning to relieve you after pulling an all-nighter. Ugh.
There's a bee in your body. I can tell.
Just fresh.
Like-
Yeah, that sounds about
She
right.
stayed
Like,
late at the shelter
granted,
and left me on
I've
my
only
own.
done a handful of shifts where they had to
Gracie
keep
does
me
enjoy
from
her work.
doing an
She
8-hour
gets
shift,
random
and then
moments
they
rest.
had to waylay me for
She's
like
all
another
over the
4
place
hours
all the
because
time.
nobody knows how to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So that's always fun.
Just wants
And the
everyone to
amount
be
of
okay
sheer
all the time, you know?
stupidity I've seen in
Yeah,
an
I know.
airport. You would think
some help in there?
just working in an
Yes,
airport
I'm
parking lot,
almost
you're not
done.
going to see much.
What else is on your mind?
What's
Surprise!
all about Buddy?
Yeah,
Why
well,
you barking up that tree
that's just
for?
the kind of bullshit
It's hard
we
not
have to
to.
deal with on the
All
daily.
of them is so much as talks about her.
So,
Well,
story time. I
does she
have
ever look
worked
in on
in
you?
my life for 2 security
No.
companies. The first
I
one
guess not.
was named Tenable, and I was special event staff.
People are privy.
And I worked
things
with
that
my
matter.
father at the Brown Stadium, at the
Your
Cleveland
mama
Brown
is
Stadium.
doing what she thinks is best.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. I didn't think people could get drunk at 11 a.m. Boy, was I wrong. Story time. So, me and Dad were tasked with working up in the family zone of the stadium. So, unfortunately, the family zone had a no alcohol policy because obviously there are kids and whatnot. So, we're sitting there and it's like the third quarter. And all of a sudden, Dad's radio goes off that, hey, we have a drunk lady that got past the first floor security. She's on her way up. I'm like, excuse me? Me and Dad are looking at each other, and then I look to the ramp. And here she comes, mumbling, bumbling,
What just
stumbling.
happened? How did I get back to the shore?
How she got up there, we still don't know. Because, Dan, this was like you ending up naked in the parking lot, drunk.
Thanks,
that
absence.
Like that level of drunk. So, we're sitting there talking, and at this point, we're just sitting there watching the festivities. Because she can barely stand up straight. So she gets to where we are.
Shit! It took out the bridge!
And me and Dad had the misfortune of having to inform her that she's going back down. Because at the Brown Stadium there, for the sheriff's office,
I'm gonna make it.
there is a jail cell that you can put on the disorderlies until, you know, they can drive them to the police station.
Fast enough. I'm always
It
fast
took
enough.
3 officers to have to carry her because she could not make it back down the steps.
Bunny. She's gotta help.
That's the type of stupidity you're going to have to deal with, Mr. Walter. Because Crocker Park is about the same, if not
The
worse.
bridge! Gotta get across.
I hate to be like that guy to like shit on your dreams of making like money. You're not about to have a good time. Nobody has a good time doing security work. Unless you're armed. Unless you're doing OPATA certified, which is a higher pay grade and at least you're
She's
safe.
always fine during storms.
So if I were you, I would go for your OPATA certification.
If I can get to her place, she can get help from Mama.
Which allows you to not only get better gigs, but it also allows you to carry a firearm. And you get to carry, you know, most of the thing that police do.
I must be
You know, the
serious.
bulletproof vest, the handcuffs, your other flashlight, pepper spray, that type of thing. A lot of times you'll get to sit in a car and do like a road patrol, like around the site,
Okay. Can't give up now.
that type of thing. I am grateful that you're not going to a hospital, because that's a,
Oh, hospital security is straight fucked.
that's a whole new kettle of fish.
Please!
Ever seen a sick person have to get restrained because they are literally going insane?
Please!
Yes,
It happened to,
actually,
yes. Yeah, it happened at the hospital I was at during my recovery. It took like 3 different security guards who were pretty jacked to calm down one crazy woman.
Well, here's the thing: what they don't tell you about hospital security, okay, is they don't tell you that you also have to do life flight. You actually have to, if you're not like a lieutenant or higher up, you're the one that has to go up there with them, get the helicopter, make sure everything is copacetic on the landing pad before they can take the patient down.
Headed to
And
your
then you
place.
have to restrain said patient if they're getting uppity.
I'm so scared.
Which is most of the time because they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Scared if you're up there.
Oh, and when you start dealing with the teenagers, oh, boy, do I got stories for you. I had to deal with one airport security teenager, and Dan, I kid you not, I wanted to bitch slap their parent. Because there was no way that this kid could be that stupid on his own. So
Where's that?
they had me at the outdoor parking
Oh,
lot,
they'll help me.
which I absolutely despise because there's no place to actually like sit down other than the bus stop,
Yeah.
which is on like the other parking lot on the other side of the street,
I know y'all in there.
which wasn't fun.
Excuse me. You can't just
So-
show up unannounced.
this
I had to talk to
teenage
Bunny. When she was
yuppie
rested, you're gonna have to come back.
happened to be a very impatient fucker and decided that he wasn't going to wait for the gate arm to swing up. So he decides that he's going to try and drive through the gate.
Yep.
What is
So
all this
Yep.
I'm on my lunch break, and all of a sudden my radio just starts going bananas.
Grandma?
Like the airport
that
workers are
Hazel?
like having a fucking fit, and
You've
you know my lunch was like 5 minutes away from ending.
What brought you sopping
So-
right to my doorstep this evening?
I'm like, whatever, I'll head out there and see what the
Nonsense, Lily.
amount
my
of
only
fucks I uttered
grandchild
after I
down
got
there.
there would make a swear jar
What can
fill
we
up in
do
about
for you?
2.5 seconds.
The trailer got swept downstream with Mama in it, and I
So not only do
Swept
I have to
down in the
deal
river in
with
that
this
tin can of a
parent's
home?
drunken
tried to catch her,
yammering,
but I couldn't.
I have to deal with a
couldn't stop.
17-year-old who seems to think he knows everything
no one in
about my
town.
job and tells me how to do
I
it.
saw the lights on here, and I came for help.
And we will.
Now,
In the
typically,
morning.
you're not
But
supposed to
you
put
know people.
hands
Can you call the
on
sheriff or
people who
something?
are getting uppity.
You know rescue services are paused in
My
the middle
status
of a hurricane, dear.
And the
You're
security
acting like
company
you
at
don't
this
even
time
care.
said otherwise.
Your tone, please.
So,
You don't.
I
So you had
radio-
clearance.
Oh, I
It's
had
about
clearance.
Mama. I'm seeing.
So
these
I radio
things,
the
these
local PD
strands.
that I'm going
in
to
the
have
air.
to restrain a 17-year-old get to the outer line.
I'm scared.
As I'm radioing these
Strands.
people, this motherfucker decides
Yeah.
to take a swing at me.
There's something big. out
The
there.
next thing he found was that he was upside down, hands behind his
Lily.
back, with a big fat
Yes,
guy's
ma'am?
knee on his back
Clearly
that
my
said two
granddaughter
words to
is
him:
not in
if
her
you
right
move
mind
again,
right
I
now.
will break your arm.
Afraid for her mother and all. Ready a guest room.
So now,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
only do I have this Yahoo
Oh,
shouting obscenities at me, saying, "Oh, if I didn't have,
been
you
through
know,
a lot
if
tonight.
I wasn't a security officer, yada yada
Come
yada,
sit
I'd
down
beat your
for a
ass,
minute.
yada yada yada." I've now got this drunk parent getting out of the car, and I am the only one here at the moment. That was the type of shit that I got to deal with, and I can only imagine what the Crocker Park Mall is about to be.
Probably not much better.
Walter posted in the chat that SWAT was there 2 days ago.
A dream. What a strange
Yeah,
dream.
that sounds
You're about to
right.
have fun.
These strands. I seen them before.
But the reason that I got out of the security biz is
They're saying my name.
the main reason is Relief never knew how to show up on time. And I got really tired of having to pull like overtime shift for BS pay.
What are you doing here?
Like it drove me absolutely bonkers.
Who? Who are you? What are you doing in my dream?
Yeah, it's never enough for what you get.
But that also makes me to question Dan's motives. Like as to why the fuck he stays with fast food service, because I lose my shit there too.
Money.
Oh, it can't just be the money.
It's money. I need money and there's no other job.
Hazel!
I'm right here. Mom.
Because the amount of times that he has texted me while on shift, his texts either state shoot me, bury me, hit me, or I want to go home.
Yeah, but I still do it because I'm the only one who can, and if I left now, they'd be fucked. And plus, I'm about to get a promotion that gives me more money.
Oh God, my baby!
When did this come about? Why haven't you told me? I should have been the first
Not
one you
gonna
would tell
make
me.
it.
I thought I did tell you.
You didn't tell me jack squat.
I'm okay.
I thought I did.
You never mentioned it once.
Yeah, I'm about to get a promotion, so yay.
What's the promotion entail? Manager, assistant manager?
Career trainer.
Oh, I thought it was something exciting.
No, so I get to tell a little shit slip to do, and they have no point but to listen to me.
Oh,
Wake up.
And that's $16.50 an hour.
nice. Was it like $1 pay raise or something?
30 cents, but 30 cents is something I'll see on the paycheck.
But, Grandma?
Yeah, given current state of affairs, yes.
Bunny! Lily!
And since we have no one else doing fucking closing shifts, because fuck me, I'm the only one who can do them,
That's my mama. Hey,
we
open
need
the
people to
door.
train people on the closing shift, and guess who does the closing shifts?
Well, so it sounds like you got a promotion because you had no choice.
I'll see it on a paycheck, that's all I care about.
It's my only option.
I'll train little shits if it makes me do closing less.
Maybe.
Yeah, that
it
does
wasn't a dream.
sound good.
If they don't quit within the first if they don't quit within the
Always
first
been
couple of
so
days.
passive-aggressive.
Oh, they probably will.
It's already happened. Well, not on my training, but we hired like 3 people and 2 of them left day 1.
That,
Oh yeah,
Stop.
because
that thing last night.
the fast food industry is just some like easy thing where you just serve people food. They don't grasp the fact that there's closing stuff you
Can't
have to
leave,
do.
Bunny.
There's opening stuff you
No,
have to do.
it's the fact they had to
Lock
work.
me in there.
Well, that too. People have an aversion to working.
People are just fucking entitled, is what it is.
That too.
Unraveling.
People are so head up their own ass. Their life owes
the
them a
hell does that
living.
mean?
They don't understand the fact
Can
that
Bunny see
you
straight
actually have to work to earn your living.
Well, you know what's funny about my situation?
Hit me with it.
So, for those of you that don't know, Mom's been in the hospital for like about a week and a half.
I wonder what happened.
Her open heart surgery did go okay.
Sad.
There's a slight hiccup though with it. She has AFib, so which means that she has to have another heart surgery, a heart ablation done, but they can't do it right now because it's too soon and her heart needs time to obviously heal. So, I was talking to a few people,
Does she lock all the doors
and
in here?
they're like, "Why aren't you getting paid to be her caregiver?"
There's something.
I'm
behind
like,
that
"That's a
shelf.
thing. That's an option."
It is an option.
Well, because I brought it up to Mom before she went in the hospital that, you know, hey, why don't we try and see if I can get, you know, monetized and for being your
Rich people's
caregiver.
houses.
The amount of red tape we'd have to go through
Those voices are
would
getting
take me
louder.
like 6 months.
There's something up here.
Like, I looked up a bit of it, and I have to have, like, medical experience. I've got to be able to do basic CPR.
Yeah, but doesn't your security training cover that?
No. We were never actually trained in CPR. We were trained in your basic de-escalation.
Do these
Kind of like your
control-
basic psychology type deal.
Okay, so if you find a subject lying on the ground because they are having trouble breathing and you need to perform CPR, you just can't do it because you don't know how.
Pretty much.
Okay.
With like an OPADA certification,
What is
I
all
believe
this?
part of their
I feel like I'm
training
going
is
insane.
CPR. Now you could do a CPR course before you get into the security business, and you can like put that on like on your resume that you are CPR certified.
Right. But that would have to be something you search out yourself.
But yeah, and you have to pay for it,
That's not
and
possible.
it's a night.
Foot's fine too.
Yeah, so it's on your dime and on your time.
Like my mom taught me how to do it, but because I don't have the paperwork to like back it up, and I've just got like her personal training because obviously she is a medical.
The hooks.
So
In the
you
medical
know how to
field.
do it. You're not certified to do it.
I know how to do it. I'm not
Stigma?
certified to do it.
Do they know what to do?
Given for my unarmed security gig, they would put you on sites where you don't have to kind of deal with that.
Right.
So, like, me doing a hospital was kind of like out of my comfort zone.
But you were
luckily
just there for de-escalation, weren't you? Not just dealing with rowdy
Um,
people instead of like patients who would
I
need
was-
that kind of attention.
So, I was a step below Fuzzy. Fuzzy had other officers that answered to him. I was one of the officers that would typically answer to a person in his position. So
Mhm.
they would send you to like the insanity
I never
wing.
did.
They would send you to restrain people. That type of deal, which
I'll never find my mama on my own.
leads to a whole new lawsuit.
Right.
Especially with the teenagers.
Hazel got no help from her strange grandmother.
I had one
Truth was,
one
she
teen
was glad to leave the flood
who-
mansion behind. Used to
I don't know
handle
how he
things
got
on her own.
past
She set off down
the
river
patient
to find
screening
her
when they put
house
him in
and
there.
rescue her ma herself.
but he ended up pulling a
There,
hypodermic
magic
needle
called to her. A magic she'd felt in her
and
bones,
was
but
threatening
she
the nurses with it.
never seen before.
So I happened to be,
And
on
something
doing like the
dark.
patrol route, the on foot patrol
That
route,
old house had hid all manner
and
of
my
odious
radio goes
secrets over
off
the
that
years.
we have an armed
Hazel
suspect
set
and
off
we need
to
him
find them
restrained.
all through the hurricane ravaged
Well,
land. But her path would lead her to a
Typically,
place
the way
haunted
a
by
hospital
whispers
security
from
detail
Hazel
works
Road.
is you've got 3 unarmed floaters, you've got 1 looking at the security cameras, and then you've got 2 cops outside. Well, by the time the cops would have got there, one of the nurses could have
That's all I need to
potentially,
find.
been
There's no one coming.
Injured or
Hurt.
worse.
hurt. So I walk in there, and it's, a young black male, and I'm looking at him, and I can tell that he's doing this not because he's being rowdy, but because he's scared. Which tells me that, I asked the nurse, I'm like, hey, what is he in here for? And he was bipolar 2.
Need to get downriver.
He had not had
Mama's
his
trapped
meds
I'll
in
figure it
quite
out.
some time. I'm like, you do realize having all these people inside this room is scaring him, right? I'm like, I need every, non-medical personnel to leave. I need 1 nurse in here, and we're going to go talk him down. So, mind you, I was like 250 of solid rock at this point. And he's looking at me, and the first thing he says is, please don't hurt me. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those conversations, isn't it? I'm like, I'm not
think
going to
this
hurt
is
you,
the
but
right
I
way.
need you to put the needle down because you're scaring the nursing staff, and they don't want to have to restrain you. So it was kind of like this, the thing was like a safety net.
Yeah, he was using it to protect himself, essentially.
So, we ended up disarming him and that type of deal, and we didn't have to restrain him. So his parents walk in, and that's when shit really got started.
So
Because
it escalated from there.
his parents didn't know that he was in there.
More thorns. All the way out here?
Ah.
Where am I anyway?
Because
So you had to have a fun conversation.
So typically what's supposed to happen is before an ambulance takes you,
Foxes.
they're at
Besides
least
what all
here
the
in the
fuzzy
state
guys
of
out and
Ohio,
about.
they're supposed to notify a parent that, hey, we have your child, we are taking them up to the psych evaluation unit. Nobody told the parents a thing.
This was my way downriver.
Now, the story that I
The
had
way forward is
gotten
down.
was that his parents knew. And now I'm looking like the fucking idiot because no, they weren't notified. And how do I de-escalate this situation? So, luckily the mother was more attentive and listening than the fucking dad was, because the dad just wanted to beat up anybody in sight, which would have made my job harder.
One of those assholes, huh?
So, to de-escalate this type of a situation, protocol dictated that I speak to both parents individually.
Right.
So that's what I did. I'm like, here's what we're gonna do.
Rabbit or something.
I'm like, I understand you're mad. I would be too in your, your situation. I was told that you guys were notified that your child was in here. Clearly that's not the case, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a, a one-on-one powwow. First I'm gonna talk to the mother, then I'm gonna talk to the father, and we're gonna get some stuff straightened out.
You also spooked.
I've never had to deal with this at the airport. So, my shift finally ends. And I can't wait to go home.
Hell no.
I'm like in one of those like deep tired hazes. That just get me out of here.
Yeah, you ended your day.
The dad corners me outside.
Better work.
And,
Okay.
I walk out there. I'm waiting for, Dad to come get me. And I'm like, look, dude. I'm like, if you're going to hit me, just go ahead and hit me. Because I'm too tired to fight back. I'm too tired to fight with you. I'm like, I thought we were okay. Clearly, you still got something to say. Have at it. He's like, no, you're just the first white boy who's actually been able to, give me a straight answer as to what's going on with my child, because nobody else has done it. I'm like, I can't speak for everybody. I'm like, I just put myself in your position. Like, you're supposed to do with security. Like, put yourself in the spot of what's got somebody rowdy and try to talk them down from there. Now, I could have done it the other way. I could have, told the guy that if you're feeling froggy, jump, because I am licensed to hit you, and I'll guarantee you're not getting up.
It's those voices again.
And there are going to be days, Walter, where you are going to have to put on that tough front and be like, no, this is how we're going to do things. You're on my company time. You listen to what I got to say. There's especially like in security or fast food
From down there.
or other types of, those type of jobs where you're dealing with customer service. There is a time and a place for you to be angry and annoyed, and there's a time and a place for you, to be calm. I'm hoping that your training officer or your CO will go over that with you. Royce was pretty good on, informing their unarmed officers as to how to act, how to do this, that, and the other thing. Now, when I was with them, I had to do an orientation. Oh, that was always fun. And, listen to a lecture for 8 hours on how to, act accordingly, and I fell asleep for 4 of them. I don't know if they're going to do that with you.
Hey, orientations are always fun, aren't they?
Or, as me and Dad call them, treat me like I'm stupid lectures.
What they do.
But we're talking about all this because this segues into kind of a streaming thing that me and Dan started. I think it was 6 months in when we started doing the anti-bullying, anti-suicide streams.
No, yeah, because you said you were always an advocate for it.
They can't have gone far. When I find them, I swear.
And when you're doing security work,
We can't stop moving.
you see all sorts of messed up shit.
This ain't my first time doing this.
It really does take a toll on your mental health,
You and your little one.
because you're
Now come on.
you're seeing people in distress, you're trying to de-escalate high pressure
I'll
situations.
take you to the river.
having to deal with law enforcement, having to deal with COs. It really does wear and grain on you. So, when me and Dan started streaming together,
But they look so real.
about 6 months in,
It's crazy.
I had
But I can't stop now.
already
Those
known that he
are
had
my
been
best
bullied in
chance of
high
getting
school.
down
He
there.
kind of like got drunk one night and just like gave me his life story.
You also asked, so I'm like, sure, why the hell not?
And it didn't bother me. Like, Dan was family from there on out. Like, it didn't bother me. So I did message him like the next day after he told me that he has a hangover and he'll be with me in like 20 minutes. So we get to talking and I'm like, look, I'm an advocate for, men's mental health, anti-bullying, anti...
Well, because you always had men's mental health on the brain because it was kind of like a new kind of thing where all these new reports were coming out of suicidal men having deep emotional issues, and nobody really did anything about it.
Yes, especially
Especially when it came to veterans and people in law enforcement and all that.
like
Fluffy and soft.
nowadays you
Anything
hear
else
the
around
term
here feels
crashing
so
out.
wrong.
Back in, our day, there was no crashing out. It was just somebody pulling the trigger. And, unaliving themselves. And
Taking the self-deletion route.
And, we've had people come up to us, like April's come to us, whenever she's particularly feeling that way, and she calls me more than him,
This place.
which obviously is fine.
Follow me.
That Dan's there for the comedic relief.
Get back! Hi!
And, Sam Wise has had that same conversation with me when he went to his dark
Where'd they
place.
go?
And it's always funny because people always tell me the same thing. Oh, I'm going to give you, tell you this, that, and the other thing, and you're just going to walk away.
There's that sound again.
And they're always surprised
And
when
it's
I'm
loud
still
where they
there.
went in.
Like, I've been where you're at. Especially as a male. Like, me and Dan didn't start doing, like, our deep talks until, like, a year in. Because he, with him being bullied, he was always told that he wasn't going to amount to shit. And
All the
I remember
hoes
the
to
first
watch
conversation I had with
Had
him.
to be ours.
I had stated that, hey, I'm proud of you. You're doing good work. Keep it up. And he fucking called me. He's like, you want to run that by me again? I'm like, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. And
Keep
it was the
together.
first time I've heard him
Looking
cry.
back. Just gotta clear the next hurdle in front of me.
Because nobody has ever told him that. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking pathetic. That nobody can see the amount of effort that not only is he holding down a job, but he's also
Whole family's forced to
taking
make
care
do
of
with
his
so damn
parents. He's
little.
also streaming. He's doing all these things, and nobody can be bothered to tell him that they're proud of him. Like, that's kind of messed up. And that was kind of like the deciding factor as to where I wanted my personal feelings of my channel to go to. Is that, especially if I'm like talking with my, my gaming community and all of that fun, happy stuff, that, hey, I see what you're doing and keep up the good work. It takes 2 seconds to make somebody's day. And the fact that I got Dan to break was just like icing
like
on the cake that,
snatching something
okay,
out of
this is
the
the path I
past.
need to be on.
There they are.
Well, yeah, being bullied constantly like myself, no one's ever done anything or said anything that really
Where did I
mattered,
see that symbol somewhere
except for, getting my shit pushed in on the daily.
else? Is this connected to those ghosts?
For literally, and I quote the reason, existing.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Apparently, I just disgusted people that I merely was a concept.
Unreal.
Don't go to Ontario.
Well, I had a weird conversation. So, a couple days ago, may have been like a couple days, couple weeks, I can't remember. I had somebody who bullied me relentlessly message me out of the blue. I haven't heard from him for at least 20 years, at least since high school. So I was debating on like putting the message in like the delete bucket and just going about my day. But the stupid curiosity in me said, okay, let's see where this goes. I should have listened to my gut. I should have just left well enough alone. Because I don't know what this dude was smoking or what drugs he was on, but he could not string a coherent thought to save his life. And to me, it's like, if you have to be high or drunk to apologize to me, then your apology ain't worth spit. Because you're doing it while inebriated or intoxicated. And to me, it's not genuine. Like, there's no point. Like,
Yeah. I can agree to that.
The big situation that Dan found himself in was the situation with Phil.
Yeah.
And that because Dan was the first one to tell me. Like, Phil was too much of a coward that he didn't want to like open his mouth, especially like when he was in front of me, to like diss me and say all the stuff. He waited until he was alone with Dan, and then told Dan all the crap that uttered out of his mouth. So Dan tells me, and Dan's expecting me to just go off, to like not have a care in the world and do what I normally do and just say what I got to say. My response to Dan was, do what you gotta do. I'm like, he ain't nothing to me. I'm like, he's the one calling you an asshole. He's the one bitching and griping because you're hanging out with me and doesn't want to be man enough to come to me and say, hey, I feel like you're taking my friend away from you. Which
was never the issue.
Which me and Dan both agreed that was cockamamie hoopla.
Because, given everything, you at least tried to find, like, some kind of common ground. You did. It's just, Phil has an ego, and once he gets it in his head that he thinks he's right, nothing else really matters. He's so head up his own ass.
Like, there was one conversation where Dan messaged me in the middle of it, and he's like, and please, for the love of God, just go off. I'm tired of hearing it. And I wasn't inebriated, but I had a good buzz going, and I knew that if I opened my mouth to that floodgate, Dan wasn't going to be ready for it, but I did it anyway. Because the subject was on Halo. I believe that was the subject.
I don't even remember. It's been a while.
And it was the conversation where he tried to tell me that...
No,
Halo...
you had an opinion, and it didn't match his, and he was getting all uppity. That's what it was.
Like, he had said that, oh, Halo's like the greatest Xbox franchise of all time. Now, I had dabbled in Halo. Like, I wasn't like a connoisseur of Halo. I wasn't like a big time player, but I had seen gameplay and I wasn't impressed. Like, it wasn't until like much later that I went with it with Dan that I kind of like got into it. And I'm like, I'll have to wholeheartedly disagree that if you're gonna say that there is a game defining genre, then look no further than the Gears of War. I'm like, you had good storytelling, you had good combat. Yes, it could be a little janky, but then again, so was Halo.
Oh, Halo was all jank. Especially the first one.
And Phil, to his credit, kind of went quiet for a second because he couldn't believe I just said that. And then he's like, no offense, but I think you're stupid. Now, anytime somebody tells you no offense, they are definitely meaning to insult your intelligence.
Oh, you get offended. That's just the way that is. When they say when they say don't, or I don't mean offense, they really mean kiss my ass.
And then Dan utters the words, oh no. And it's because Dan knew what was about to happen. Dan has always said, let me tell you a bit about yourself. Mine was far worse. I'm like,
well, but it's more along the lines of let me tell you what's wrong with you. But yeah, more or less.
My first words were Phil. I'm like, you ever insult my intelligence again, I will find you in Canada, and we will have a discussion.
Except it was a lot longer, and there were a few curse words thrown in there.
Like, I can't stand people with an ego.
It's not an ego, it's just he believes he's right on everything.
Like, Phil falls into that category of nerd where you can tell them that something is wrong and you both know that something is wrong with what they've said, but they'll still believe that they're right. And, you know, I kind of like, I let the conversation go. I said my piece, walked away. Not 2 days later, Dan sends me the screenshot of what Phil said to him.
There we go.
And I'm looking at, like, it was like a fucking novel.
I had to send it in 3 separate screenshots.
That, you know, that I took Dan away from his best friend. He cares more about you than he does me.
Chloe Drudge.
So I
Wonder
messaged
where
Phil,
you are now.
like, after Dan blocked him. Because I told Dan, I'm like, look, you handle this however you want. I'll back you up.
Yeah, but then I'm like, you know what? You go off, because I know you have something you want to say.
I then, you know, messaged him myself. I'm like, look, dude. I'm like, I've been putting up with your fucking ego and your fucking pride and bullshit for, like, the last month. I'm like, you claim that Dan's supposed to be your best friend, that he's not allowed to have another best friend because you took that role, and you're gonna say that type of shit to him? I'm like, you're about the fakest friend I've ever fucking met in my life, and thank God he fucking cut you off, because I was gonna really tell you something about yourself that you weren't ready for. And I sent Dan the message, and he sends me the laughing emoji because he's like dying.
I think that's them up ahead.
And, you know, the whole friendship between me and Dan and the whole bond that we had with me and Dan, they kind of stemmed from the fact that we were, like, both bullied as kids, so we kind of, like, understood each other. Like, type deal.
Well, it's just we connected on so many levels. You know, that's just the way that was.
Like, the only thing that me and Dan ever disagree on is a video game.
Yeah.
Like there'll be something like that I'm looking at, and obviously with the gaming industry about to become a shit show. Especially with like the big named companies like EA, Respawn,
Another one of those symbols.
Ubisoft.
It rhymes with Jin Go Home.
Stigma. Why me? How come I can
And that
see what
type of deal.
this is
He's kind of like reluctant to take the shot where I'm like more open-minded. So it's like pulling fucking teeth trying to get him to
never knew
take a
this
shot
was
on
here.
something.
I wonder how many other folks escaped through this cave.
Like eventually he'll like just get tired of like listening to me and he'll do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the upcoming gaming titles that we're looking forward to are obviously Borderlands 4.
Those roots are too high for me to reach.
Some games that I'm looking at are Outer Worlds 2.
That'll make things a lot easier for me.
That's supposed to come in midsummer, but the other one that has really got my attention is Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, I don't know Dan's experience with Doom.
I mean, I played Doom 1, 2, 3, and 64. But that was probably about as far as I got.
Supposedly Doom: Dark Ages is more focused on like combat and gore and kind of like going back to its like roots, which intrigued the hell out of me. There are rumored leaks that Titanfall 3 is going to be in development or is in development. Dan, why don't you tell them about the Oblivion remake, because you were more interested in that than I was.
Okay, so a few days ago, I was, scrolling through YouTube, and a guy who does a lot of Oblivion coverage called Dark Lord Dash uploaded a video where there were some screenshots that were leaked. So, he's going through some of it. Turns out it might be coming out a lot sooner than we thought. It looks like it's like nothing is being confirmed by the company that's making it. I can't remember the name. Virtuous, I think they're called.
She didn't know she was about to meet me.
But they have been going around and taking down these screenshots wherever they see them.
Oh.
Because they kind of want this thing to. They were gonna like more or less kind of drop it at some point and be like, yeah, we did this. What of it?
Oh.
But there's some screenshots, there's specs, it's running on Unreal Engine 5.
Please let our house be in one.
They are overhauled the combat. It's supposed to somewhat play like Dark Souls, but not exactly. Like, you're not gonna have to dodge roll everything in mid-max. No, it's still gonna be Oblivion, just the combat's gonna be a little more engaged. Mostly staying the same game. We don't know if it's been re-voice acted, re-scored, none of that stuff, we don't know. But yeah, like, they say it might be out in the next couple of weeks, we do not know. But the box art looks fire.
Is coming that soon?
That's what the leaks are saying. Nothing has been confirmed by Virtuous. Or even Bethesda, for that matter.
Is Bethesda even involved?
Yes, they let them do it. They gave the project to Virtuous because they were working on Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now that makes more sense.
So what?
When you first told me, I'm like, So Bethesda just kind of like gave up, or
No,
I
like
didn't,
they
I didn't realize that they signed off on it.
Yeah, no, this is to tide us over until Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting that anytime soon.
At least another 5 years. Anyway, with how long Starfield took to come out, Starfield's
Honestly,
a whole different beast.
honestly, I'm surprised that fucking Bethesda even recovered from Starfield because, good Lord Almighty.
So what we're looking at, maybe the next few weeks, we're not exactly sure. Nothing's been confirmed yet. But yes, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake is definitely a thing.
I can make
Now, is it like a 1-to-1? Are they doing like the same DLCs, or are they doing like...
The DLC is supposed to be in the game. From Horse Armor all the way to the Shivering Isles.
Oh, so they're not doing like a new expansion for it, or...
No, it's going to be the same game, just redone.
Up-res.
Running on Unreal Engine 5, new combat. I think the voice acting's getting overhauled as well as the music.
Oh, look, I'm glad they didn't fucking remake Skyrim for like the 50th time. Like, Oblivion needed some love.
And it's getting love with Virtuous. I've seen the screenshots. God damn, the game looks beautiful.
Looks like they made it over the
Oblivion has needed this. Oblivion came out in 2006, 2007. We are in 2025.
Like, something I never understood is why they waited so long for Oblivion.
But, like a remake?
If you could remake Skyrim and do special editions of Skyrim like 70 bajillion times.
Because Skyrim was way more famous than Oblivion.
Well, that's bullshit.
It was, dude. It sold like hotcakes.
No, I meant like it's bullshit, like that's the reason.
Yeah, that's the exact reason. They wanted to milk Skyrim for as much as they can, and when they realized, oh wait, the next edition isn't going to make as much, let's try to get the fans reinvested in our product, and let's give it to a company that can actually up-res it and make it good, while we work on the next Elder Scrolls, and bam!
Like, one reason, like, Dan has Oblivion for us via Game Share. And he was nice enough to get like all the DLCs with it and whatnot. For the life of me, I could never get into the damn thing. Like, I start a character, and I'll get like maybe halfway through, and then I'll completely forget what the fuck I was doing on the game.
For one thing.
Like, the voice acting was janky, the combat was janky.
Oh, there's a line in that game done by one character, and specifically where they left the first take where she's like, okay, let me try that again, and the second take.
It's like getting a second win.
All in the same voice line. It was hilarious.
Like, I love the story of Oblivion.
A prisoner getting released by the Emperor on the fact that he is that he has a destiny that he must fulfill. Yeah, kind of pretty fun.
I mean, I liked it better than the frickin' suddenly being a fucking dragonborn.
Yeah, like, I guess it makes sense, but like when you're playing as a high elf and you're somehow a dragonborn, when that's more of a Nord custom.
Like,
don't
get me wrong, like, Skyrim was kind of fun, but after like in mods, kind of
do
like,
so many playthroughs.
I can only mod it for so long before I get bored.
There's a long journey ahead.
And it was the same problem I had with Starfield.
Thank you.
Like, Starfield is
Brave. Quickest way to the
a mixed bag of tricks. Like, the DLC dropped for that, and because Dan got the, the deluxe edition, like we have it.
I still
Alright.
haven't played. I still haven't played Starfield since before the DLC dropped. So I haven't
Yeah.
even seen the DLC.
Me either. And supposedly the fucking DLC is just for the end game. I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point? Like, I'm not gonna sit there and make another character, go through another run, drop another 100 gigs, by the way, for fucking storage.
Hey, that's from our house.
When I could be doing like a Borderlands 3 run
That's
through
Mama's
for
work binder.
more bang for my buck for a looter shooter.
What?
Which
A really
I see.
good
I
looter
see,
shooter.
I see you people. I know you want me to, you know, do another
Hate this
playthrough.
thing. It's like cracking
It's
open
me
Pandora's
finding
box.
somebody to go do that playthrough with
So
is
hard for me to
the main thing.
not take my feelings home to Hazel afterwards.
Hi.
Are you
wanna
willing to go
shoot.
do it?
I'll do it if you want to.
But I just keep pushing her away.
I didn't know her work
Well,
affected
I
her
might.
so much.
You heard it here first, folks.
She can't
It just
hear
means
me.
I have to pull up with the Calypso twins
What
again.
was all that anyway?
Yeah, but we get to shoot them in the face, and we're happy.
Yeah, so I'll just pull out my Moes and we'll go have
No
fun.
way No.
Her new fucking skill tree, she is just broken AF.
Yeah, I love Moes.
Hello? Is someone there?
Remember the first
Oh.
time I brought out my Moes, I dropped the fucking thing. Mike gets on the back turret and we just go ham.
Well, then, I guess after the stream's over, why don't you go get it to download and we'll do
I
another
have 3
run.
days off next week.
Do you?
Yeah. Wednesday,
Cool.
Thursday, Friday.
Well, I guess I know what we're doing. And yes, I know my birthday is Saturday. Don't fucking rub it in, people, okay?
He's old.
Shut up!
He's an old bastard.
I don't know what I'm going to stream on Saturday for my birthday.
Who is that?
If anything, I might just kind of like do whatever. Normally Dan's with me on my birthday. I really don't feel like bugging him like that Friday after work. That, hey, want to go do a birthday stream for me when you get home?
Oh, thanks. Get off me.
That all depends.
See? See?
That's not that I don't want to. It's just that I work and I get tired.
Where?
It's fine.
My salvation.
We will see. We will see. We will see.
Nope.
So,
no way.
if anything, I
we
might
were
just
right.
give
You must
myself
have
2
seen
birthday
strange
streams.
things
I might
with
do
me.
one on my birthday,
And
then I
was
might
so
do
sorry to hear about your misfortune.
fire up the
You find your
Borderlands
mama
3
yet?
run, and we'll do it then too.
How do you know about my mama?
Well, before
Dan,
I
you're gonna have to
you
tell me
I
what you're
know,
getting rid of
would you
for
mind?
storage, because
This gentleman here scooped me up,
with
but he
the new
ain't
stuff
was
that you
good
got for the
about letting me
DLC,
go. Would you
plus the
kindly do
DLCs
your
themselves,
wee
you're looking at
thing and
101
let me
gig.
down?
Yeah, if I end up
What
deleting
we be
anything, I'll tell you. I could probably get creative.
Don't tease now.
Okay.
Sound carries underwater. It ain't every day I hear about a new weaver such as yourself.
Dan, am I
And
staring
lo
at a
and behold,
catfish?
with this
I don't even know what the fuck that
I
is.
just found this thing. Look, my house got swept away in the storm with my mama in it, and I'm just trying to find my mama before.
But I think after this cutscene,
really don't know
I am
anything.
going to go play some fighters with Dan
How
before he goes off to Betty Bye.
I'm getting really sick and tired of folks being disappointed.
Dan, how does Sparking Zero sound?
What if I do a fan?
Fucking
No.
Zero sounds lovely. I can't wait to
just-
push your
hey,
shit in.
You can't see his strides, can't you?
Fair enough.
And they push my shit in, and then it's a combination of shit and pushing, really.
Like strings floating in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yada yada yada. I don't care.
Some folks think I'm delicious.
Alright, stream. I'll talk to you later.
Ain't healthy for